Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. Before we get started, I want to let you know that you can find all the code example and resources we'll be using today in the GitHub Repository linked in the video description below. This repository serves as a valuable companion to the tutorial, allowing you to follow along, experiment, and explore the code on your own time. Welcome to this new chapter of NextAuth.js tutorial. So today the topic is the OAuth integration. In today's digital landscape, user authentication is a crucial aspect of web development, and NextAuth simplified this process by providing a seamless solution for integrating OAuth authentication providers. So OAuth, or Open Authorization, is a widely adopted standard for access delegation, commonly used for user authentication. In this tutorial, we will explore how NextAuth.js allows users to sign in with their favorite pre-existing logins, whether it's via well-known providers like GitHub, Twitter, Google, or by setting up a custom OAuth configuration tailored to specific needs. So NextAuth.js offers two different integration processes. First one is built-in OAuth providers. That is the one that we are going to discover in this chapter. I'll guide you through the process of setting up authentication using these built-in OAuth providers, demonstrating the simplicity and the efficiency they bring to your application. And the custom OAuth providers. NextAuth offers flexibility by allowing you to implement custom OAuth configuration tailored to your application unique requirement. So before diving inside the operative step to set a Google provider, I want to show you just the OAuth flow. You can find more details on the official website. Let's discover together how the process is composed and how the authorization flow works. We have three levels actually, that is the browser, is the app server, and the auth server. In this case GitHub, but can be Google or any other provider. So the first step is just the user click on sign in. So NextAuth redirect the user directly to the sign in page, because make an API call to our auth sign in page, compute available sign-in providers from the providers option. So actually from this file that we saw before in the auth option, in this case we will add the Google one, but we can have Google, Twitter, GitHub, all listed in this array. So what is included in this array will be shown to the customer in this part. So this part compute the available sign-in providers from the providers option and redirect to sign-in page. So the sign-in page will have a different authorization provider, and the user choose the one that they want to activate and click on the sign in with GitHub or Google. When he click, he send a post request, to our API route, sign in with a specific provider. It compute the sign-in option for GitHub, like scope, callback, URL, and other information. And after the computation, we'll send a GET request directly to the provider endpoint. So the provider will get the options and all the information and send back directly to the browser, to the client, a special page, is the official confirmation page from the provider. So the user insert their credentials, can be GitHub or others. For example, in Google, the user just choose the account that they want to use for the authorization, and the provider validate the inserted credential and just check if the user exists in their database. Next step is generate one-time access code and callback URL defined in app settings. We will see what is a callback URL from the application. Actually, is the URL to communicate with our web server. That is the callback that we are going to provide. Is a GET request with some params. It actually grabs the code, the credential code that we get, the secret and the credential that we get from the service, and exchanges for the access token. So it grabs the code, it posts that code, and they have the service, the provider, verify the code that everything is valid, and with the final step, give back to our server, to our NextAuth system, the access token that is the final confirmation with all the information about the user and everything. So NextAuth now recognize that the process is complete, so it generates a session token and a stores session, okay, with all the information in the JWT object, okay? And you can see the protected route in our website, in our application, and can use all the logic that we already saw in the previous chapter. He can use the session object, he can activate, we can also integrate the other function that we saw before with the credentials provider, like the authorize function, the callback function, the event, and everything. Everything we saw in the previous chapter, we can also apply for a Google provider. So now let's see how to set the Google provider in our NextAuth.js step by step. So these are the steps to integrate a provider. First step, we have to obtain a Google client. We have to obtain a Google client ID and a Google client secret. We have 4 sub-steps. That the first one, of course, is to create a Google account and access to Google Cloud Console, okay? We have to create a new project. We have to create an OAuth consent screen that actually is a screen that the client sees when we request the authentication. And the last step is to request the credential that actually is the Google Client ID and the Google Client secret. The second step is setting up our credential in Next.config.js as environment variables. The third step is setting up the Google provider in our NextAuth project. We will see how to launch the app and test the application process, and we can play with some option and feature of Google provider. We can log, for example, the JWT object. We can see the callback function, and we interact with the flow. So let's start with the first step. So I already created my Google account here, and this is my Google Cloud Console. We create a new project here, okay? I already created a project for this tutorial that is OAuth, and we go to APIs and services, okay? So the first step is to activate a consent screen that actually I already create, but I can show you the field that you have to put when you create a new one. This is the consent screen, and actually show you which information is going to be applied on the client. So here is all the information that Google will ask you when you create the OAuth consent screen. Actually, is the app name, that is the one that the client is going to see here in the consent screen, a user support email, okay, and for user to contact you with a question about their consent, an app logo, app domain here. We have to put the app domain when we publish this application for the production. We are just on the test level. The authorized domain, you have to put the domain of your server. In this case is an AC2 that contain our Next.js project, and an email address. Okay, so you continue to save everything, and you can go directly to the next. That is the scope. Actually, the scope expresses the permission you request users to authorize for your app and allow your project to access specific type of private user data from their Google account. Actually, we need the email and the user info profile. Okay, we add these two. We go to the next step. You add, in this case, test user. I'm going to use my Devergo Gmail to test the application. So you can add more test user with a maximum of 100. You save, you see everything here, and you confirm. Okay, so you create your consent screen. After this, you are going to generate the credentials for our application. So you just click on create credential, OAuth client ID, web application in our case. You put the name of the application. This is for a request from the browser. That is not our case because our NextAuth work from the server. We just need to add the URL here, and you put for the testing purpose, you put the localhost that actually you can see in the NextAuth documentation. So you have to put the redirect URL here. For production is going to be your domain plus a path to our API route, but for development, you just put the localhost is written here. You put the localhost here. This link, I already create this one. When you confirm the last step, you will get the Google Client ID and the Google Client secret that you have to put as an environment variable directly in our Next.config.js. I already include all the credentials here. So we add our Google provider here in the array. And I just grab the code from the documentation. Also here. Here we go. We have everything. We add also this optional function that can allow us to interact with the profile object. For example, if we want to store the user data in the database, and we can do other action here, but we have to remember to return a profile that also had a truly ID. In this case, we put Samuele, and we return the profile here. Okay, so we set everything. We have to import actually the Google provider. Here we go. Now we can start our application and we can test it. We have our localhost here. Okay, I sign in. Take a little time. Okay, so I see that page with all the options. We have our old credential provider and the new one with Google. We sign in and automatically the application redirect to the Google page. We choose my account, that is the test user that I activate, and here we go. We are signed in, and I also want to see how the profile object is composed. We console log the profile here, and let's see how. Let's try again. Here we go. We sign in and we get all this information from the profile. And we can dive, we can see every single information. The ESS is the issuer, the value is the account google.com, AZP is the authorized party, AUD is the audience, the sub actually is the subject. We have email verified, in this case is true. @hash actually is the hash of the hashes token for the validation purpose. We have the name of the Google user, we have the picture of the icon, the name, the family name, the locale, and the last two field is the issued had, is the timestamp where it was created, and the expiration. So that's all with this session. Thanks for joining, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Stay tuned for the next chapter where we will discover some other feature of NextAuth world. We have reached the end of this video tutorial, and I genuinely hope you have enjoyed its content. If it has been helpful to you, please show your support by liking the video and sharing it with your friends on social media. If you haven't already, I warmly invite you to subscribe to my channel to stay updated on upcoming lessons. Don't forget to check out my website, devergolabs.com, where you will find a plethora of interesting programming content. You can also send me collaboration requests and explore all the programming services we offer. Your participation and support are crucial in my growing and to grow this community and providing you with even more valuable resources. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video tutorial.